Good afternoon. Good afternoon, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Kristle Shanell Show. You guys, I am excited about today. Y'all know when I start my show, I'm always excited, right? So I want to, number one, ask you guys to please share the broadcast. Please share the broadcast. I would also ask for you guys to definitely tune in to Dr. Kristle Shanell at YouTube. So for you guys that have not subscribed to my YouTube channel as of yet, I'm asking for you to please go to YouTube, subscribe at Dr. Kristle Shanell, and tune in as well as share the video at or off of YouTube. Okay. I have an awesome guest in the studio with me, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. Mr. Roderick, welcome so much here. I'm so excited to have you. Welcome to the Kristle Shanell Show.
Thank you, Ms. Shanell. Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely.
And again, like as you stated, my name is RODERICK. I am the president of Damage Proof Organization mentorship program, which initiated from a lot of conflicts that I've experienced over the past, which we're going to go over today.
Okay.
And how to shed light on this initiative that I have to help people.
Okay.
To help children, to help families, to be a safety net where other organizations that already exist lack. And through that lack, children are getting taken advantage of, children are dying, children are committing suicide,
Yes.
and more things in the lane of where a lot of people overlook and aren't that in depth enough to take a bigger focus on for the best interest of children.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio with me on today. You guys, I am asking for you guys to, again, please share the broadcast. You never know who needs to hear what is going to be talked about on today. Roderick has a story and a testimony that we sometimes tend to sweep underneath the rug, but it needs to be talked about. He's battled many different things, and he's going to share his truth. He's going to share his story. He's going to share his testimony on this afternoon, and I just can't wait for you to hear it. I asked Roderick when we were trying to prepare for the show, like, okay, what could we actually, what topic are we going to talk about, right? So the topic for today is wrongly incarcerated because of child support during the process of seeking who neglected and abused his child. Okay, let me just state that one more time. Wrongly incarcerated because of child support during the process of seeking who neglected and abused his child. So again, there's nobody that can tell the story better than the person that went through it. So I'm going to allow Roderick to talk about his story, his testimony, what he endured, what he had to overcome, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Neal. So just to begin, you stated a lot of viewers, a lot of people in particular, they definitely have a lot to say about people's lives when they actually have not experienced it, right? When they haven't gone through the triumph, the issues of conflict, when they see it on the outside looking in, But I definitely will start at a level or time frame where there was no, how can I put it? I want to say there were no issues, right? Because everybody goes through things.
Of course.
They're not the similar things in relationships or when they're, just cohabitating with a person. But I'll go back to before my son even was born, right? Before my son was born, it was just me, my daughter, right? I actually was here in Atlanta, Georgia at the time. I was actually in chiropractic school at Life University, Life Marietta Chiropractic College. I was there for 2 years after graduating from Mississippi State.
Okay.
Because I graduated from Mississippi State with an interdisciplinary studies degree and a minor in child psychology. You know,
Yes.
even before I had kids, I always knew that I wanted to work with the children.
Perfect.
You know, so that's always been a passion of mine that a lot of people aren't aware of. Right. My background is heavy in child care development,
Okay.
conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Right. And the nature of how I've handled my story, my cases for my children. You know, it was all in the relevance of how I handled my profession beforehand. Right. So I've facilitated over 1,000 cases for families.
Okay.
Where they were going through conflicted situations, you know, where I had to help mediate, right? And that's one thing in particular that I wasn't fortunate enough to have through my process, mediator, right? Professional mediator, to really take the time to help resolve the conflict that people go through when they're in relationships, and they may or may not get along, and they share a child, right? It's heavily important. I feel that someone always should get involved, and it doesn't always have to be the court.
That's
You know,
true.
but just going back to before there was any conflict, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, you know, at one point in time, people got along, someone got along, someone loved each other,
Yeah.
and at another stage in their lives, they're at odds, right? But it's common though, right? You know, and people will ask why, but a lot of the situations that people go through are all similar. It's just different time,
Yeah.
right? And in my case, you know, I definitely was unfortunate. You know, I definitely was unfortunate to have experienced what I've experienced in regards to my children as an active father that's prevented from seeing his children, that's prevented from being an active father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to move forward within where there was no conflict at the time to the level where any court had to get involved, where the system wasn't even existing in our co-parenting relationship, right? So this was before my son was born, and my daughter actually and I, you know, my daughter's mom and I, we actually had a great relationship even after we parted, right? And with that being said, I'm gonna play a recording, right, to kind of give the viewers a good idea on how I try to bring attention to what has happened to my son, and to make her aware of it, because it caused a conflict when my son came into the world and he started experiencing so much abuse. So I had to let my daughter's mom know what levels of conflict I was experiencing because it was affecting my life. My son, any parent with their son or daughter is appeared, or they pick them up with so many burns and injuries, they're gonna have it's gonna throw their whole life off, because they're trying to figure out how these things have happened to their child, who's been doing it, right? Having a lot of questions. I've had so many meetings with CPS, so many meetings, so many grievances, social workers, you know, to where you think that these people are trusted to do the right things, but a lot of times, in most cases, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but when my daughter's mom and I were together, you know, it was a nature of where it's like I said, different time. And I was in college. She had already graduated from college way before me, and she had her career that she was starting, but she wanted to be with me in the same city, right? So, and there's so many different type of men that are that exist. And I'm the type of man, and that's the thing people got to understand before they start commenting about things that they don't know that they experience with that individual. Right. I'm the type of man that is a real good man, right? And I can honestly stand on that based on my actions and initiative and efforts towards my children. I think any man that shows a positive effort towards his children and other children, it shows who that man is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But in my experience of even showing the type of man that I am by being an active father and wanting to be there for my children, I began to get attacked. I began to get ridiculed by people. You know, I'm talking about to the nature where it's like almost like it will make you quit. It will make you give up. Wow. You know what I mean? Wow. It will make you give up, not necessarily on your children, but give up on all the conflict that you're experiencing. Yeah. Right? So, I just felt, and in light of where my issue started with my daughter's mom, it was more so, I was in college and got out of college, and that's when our relationship started to kind of show, okay, like, are we going to be together, right? Um, she was a different age than I, so she was more expedited on wanting the relationship than myself. I'm trying to get my career together. She's wanting the relationship, right? And I'm like, well, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to have this marriage. I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm in chiropractic school, right? She had already graduated from her medical profession to get a job. She actually had a job in Oxford, Mississippi. Okay. I was in Life University in chiropractic school. So, and she was living with her sister at the time, and she moved to Georgia. Unbeknownst to me, I got a call, her getting off a plane, right? Moved to, when I was in chiropractic, Life Chiropractic, I had a roommate and everything. She got off the plane with her luggage, and she wanted to move in with me while I was in chiropractic school in my dorm. You understand what I'm saying? So, and me being her fiance at the time, because, I proposed to her because I definitely thought that was what I should have been doing at the time, right? And it wasn't like, and this was before my daughter, right? So I'm trying to do the right things, but she was more so anxious to get it done, to be married. You know what I'm saying? She was anxious to be married, didn't care to wait until I got myself together to be that leader, to be that man. She wanted to go ahead and get it done, right? So she took the initiative to put a ring in her own name, right? Without even like accepting what I could give her. You understand what I'm saying? So because I told her my credit wasn't built up at that point, I'm in chiropractic school. I'm trying to build so I can be that provider.
At least you were honest.
I'm always honest. That's the thing about me. I'm beyond honest. Yeah, anybody who's viewing this right now, they can view my TikTok channel, Damage Proof. Okay, you can see all of the information that I post, and I have plenty more documentation and truth to post. The pastor spoke today, was at church. He spoke, nobody should ever be afraid to speak their truth.
That's it.
And I feel like a lot of people ridicule people, human beings, for wanting to speak their truth.
That's it. And we're going to give a shout out to my awesome pastor, Dr. Pastor Jesse Kearney III at New Mercies Christian Church. So shout out to Pastor Kearney. Definitely, it was a good message on today. So I saw you taking a lot of notes, my brother.
Yeah, I did. Because he touched on a lot of things. The pastor touched on things regarding child abuse prevention. He touched on things, and he mentioned a word of definition called phobia, right? And he stated that that's fulfilling. Well, actually, I had to look up the definition, but I remember what he said is about a person not being able to let go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's what I've experienced in the nature of my parenting, my parenting life. My parenting life for my kids. My daughter's 8 years old, and my son's 6. Wow. Throughout my entire parenting life, it has been extremely hell. It has been. And I'm a father who desires to be present, who desires to be consistent, who desires to know, right? Who wants to know how they're doing before they go to sleep at night. Who wants to know if they're respecting their mom, right? Who wants to know these things,
And I hate that for you because honestly speaking, I mean, we have so many, I'm going to say unfit fathers, right? There are so many unfit fathers. There's so many unfit mothers that unfortunately can care less whether or not the child is living or if the child is dead. Let's just be real, right? So you have so many people that are completely abandoned, has abandoned their child, but you have a father that is definitely interested in want to be in the child's life, right? He want to do for his children. He wants to spend that quality time with his children. He wants to be able to pick them up for weekend quality time or take them on a vacation or anything of that nature during the summertime or those special holidays. But unfortunately, we're in a situation where there is no type of
equality. That's the word. Because every child deserves equal relationship with both parents. And I'm gonna repeat that for everybody that's viewing, everybody that will view on the show. this is the most important thing that I think everybody should get out of this, and what they're about to see, and what I'm about to reveal, is that every child needs an equal relationship with their parent.
Yeah, they do. The mother is important. The father is important. Um, I don't like to say, oh, the father is more important than the mother, right? I think, like you said, it should be an equal situation. Okay, the mother being in that child's life. Listen, they need to be in that child's life at 100%. The father needs to be in that child life at 100%. I just thank God for people like yourself that have these different types of mentoring program. Unfortunately, you don't have access to your children, like you would like to right now in this season, right? But we know that God is going to orchestrate and work that thing out for your good. But at the end of the day, for you even taking time out, wanting to do for other people's children, okay, that says a lot as well, right? Knowing that, that pain that you're feeling, the avoidance of not being able to really spend that time with your children, it's I know it's heartbreaking, you know.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that a lot of fathers I've seen and that has to endure, um, in the light of when these type of situations occur, right? And I think everybody puts so much of everything and jumble everything up in one category, which I feel like a lot of people shouldn't do. They should take things from where they are and what lane that they're in, right? Because I'm an active father that want to see my children. I'm not a deadbeat dad.
That's it.
So don't talk about deadbeat dads. Let's talk about active fathers who are getting prevented from being with their children. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people do that. They take things to left when we're specifically talking in the clear lane here.
And let's say this too, there are times where you have mothers as well as fathers. A lot of times we have mothers that may be protecting their child because of different reasons, right? Oh, I don't want to send my son over to their dad's house, or vice versa, because of different reasons. That may be because, number one, the person may be on some type of drugs, right? Like, as an adult and as a parent, like, who wants to send their child to someone that is on drugs and unfortunately have different addictions, and the traffic of that person's house may be extremely busy, and at the end of the day anything could happen to that particular person's child because you have so much traffic that's coming in and out of that person's home. Nowadays you can't really trust anybody. Let's just be real. I mean, we have so many scenarios where unfortunately people have gotten molested. They've gotten raped, even from their own family members. So let alone talking about a stranger. You know what I mean? So it's so many different scenarios. This thing is really a very heavy topic. And of course, everybody has their own opinion, of course, to judge things the way that they feel they would like to judge it. Everybody has an opinion, and it's okay. Whatever your opinion is, it's your opinion. But at the end of the day, we always say, get the full story. Of course, there's always two sides of a story, right? We know that there's two sides to a story. But at the end of the day, as they say, the truth will set you free. And when you do get those two parties together and they sit down and talk about the story, 9 times out of 10, you're able to find out, okay, who's really telling the truth here?
Absolutely.
Who's really telling the truth?
And I open that up, that window. I mean, I'm not holding anything back, right? I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't have anything to hide. And people who have something to hide, they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't want to communicate about what the issues are. Like, for example, I'll skip to this, and I'm gonna go back to my daughter, right? And I don't want to go off topic, but I have to mention this because we mentioned the aspect of the actual burn, right? So, and I think I mentioned this to you beforehand, and I'll show everyone who's viewing real quick the nature of what my son experienced, right? And I'm gonna show everyone in the audience here briefly.
Oh, you think they can really see it? Okay. So what we're gonna do here is just kind of take this around to the different cameras.
This is a picture when my son was 9 months old. Okay. And I have all medical records. Mind you, my past position and profession has been in child abuse prevention, child abuse investigation for the University of Mississippi Medical Center. I actually was a top lead investigator for child abuse and neglect for pediatrics and adults. That is one burn. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all the second. This is the second burn that happened to my son. That is a burn to the left side of his face. Okay, in which I picked him up from a daycare, and the daycare actually stated he scratched his face. Okay, but that's the documentation is unbelievable because the daycare actually told CPS that he scratched his face. Right. However, they stated to me in an email that his mom told them that he woke up that way and she didn't know how it occurred. Okay, and here we have it, a third burn. Okay, so this is his wrist. That's his wrist. That is the third burn. In the medical records and the documentation to that burn reads second degree burn. And the social worker stated that is not self-inflicting, right? The doctors were highly concerned regarding abuse to my child. This is all in the medical records that reads. So, and all of this information definitely was not allowed for me to present in court. Okay, but just going back to when I actually was with my daughter's mom, because you have to understand the full story, right? And again, the nature of the communication from my son's mom, I have documentation to show that states that she actually was apologizing to me for being the problem, for being problematic, for being out of control, right? These are text messages that I'm gonna reveal, right? And again, this is the truth. People don't want to hear the truth. You know, they want to hear the dad, me being the bad guy. That's what people want to hear. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to see the truth. Why is she mad at him? It's a reason. Like, you know what I mean?
Because sometimes it's normally always the man
fault,
right?
Okay, and ideally,
sometimes
I would say it's the equal playing field there.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay.
I say that there's a lot of dads who don't care. There's a lot of moms that don't care. Right? Clearly, I'm dealing with two that don't care about the best interest for their children.
Yeah.
And that's not to say something negative about them. This is actually the truth within what's happening. I can call my daughter's mom right now. She will not answer the phone, so I can talk to my daughter. I can call my son's mom phone right now. She will not answer the phone, so I can talk to my son. That is not good for the child. To take away communication, visitation, you know, the ability to help and to be there at the schools. She prevented me from going to the schools to see my son. Do you hear me? This is the nature of what a lot of men have to consistently endure.
Okay, what was the reason why she prevented you to not be able to go to the school?
As the primary caregiver of a child, the organizations that exist that foster children, they have to listen to the primary. Well, normally they listen to the primary. They don't even include the father. This is the norm. The majority of women are the primary caregivers of their children. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's set in stone for the schools, for the daycares to listen to whoever the primary is because it's court order. Okay. They don't care about a father coming in saying, hey, I love my child. Can I see him? I have recordings on my TikTok. Go to my TikTok, damage proof. You can see how me going to the daycare, trying to be involved, trying to ask the daycare, how can I pay my payments? What do I need to do? They didn't care at all. They just kicked me to the curb, all because of what they were told by the primary caregiver of the child. You understand what I'm saying? So I have done nothing to these facilities. Do you hear me? A lot of men are mistreated regarding children, and the children are how they're using it to mistreat the men because we love our children. Yeah. Real fathers love our children, right? And there's a lot of us out there. It's far more men who love their children than dads who don't. I'm sorry.
And you know, it's amazing because for what the parents and the adults don't realize is that when that child does not have that parent in their life, right, whether or not it's the mother or the father, and there's situations where unfortunately the person a parent may have passed away, right? So in a situation like that, okay, come on now, common sense, we know it's going to be difficult, and of course that particular person, that child is not going to have that parent because that parent is deceased. But if the parent is alive, right, and doing well, then, you know, what's the real reason why you don't have a relationship with your child? What is the real reason here, right? But we don't know that even as those children are growing up, that later on down the line, because those parents are not in that child's life, later on down the line, 9 times out of 10, that child has to go through therapy because now that child is like, okay, why did my daddy not want to be in my life? Why did my mother not want to be in my life? Why did my daddy keep me away from my mother? Why did my mother keep me away from my daddy? Things of that nature. We are really, 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 really doing a damage. We really are when it comes to these children's lives because unfortunately we can't get over the adulting portion of it, right?
I call it the unresolved trauma.
There we go.
So
the unresolved trauma.
Absolutely. Not to cut you off,
No, you good.
Because it's the unresolved trauma. A lot of who I've experienced, and I've seen this, and I only can speak to a lot of what I've experienced because it exists within the lane of what I've experienced. And I'm not negating that other things don't exist, right? But this lane specifically is huge within what I'm bringing awareness to because there's nothing stopping it. Yeah. There's nothing stopping this type of conflict. It's just allowed by courts, by law enforcement, by CPS. It's allowed. It's not a safety net to catch these situations to where, okay, the children are what's mattering the most. Let's just make sure we don't even entertain any of the foolishness. The children are what we got to make sure is taken care of. And within that bubble, it should be fostered to say, okay, no matter the conflict, you're allowed at this time. No matter the conflict, you're allowed at this time. It shouldn't have to be where a parent has to file paperwork to say, okay, this is my time for my child. No. It shouldn't have to be where the mom is making the dad file this paperwork to see the child. This is what a lot of women take men through. You want to see your child, you got to file this paperwork. Do you know how many times I've heard that?
Yeah, and a lot of times, unfortunately, we have men as well as women that unfortunately is just bitter, because that relationship didn't work or, the father or the mother didn't do what needed to be done or what they wanted them to do but didn't do or what they assumed they didn't do. It's just crazy, you guys. It's crazy. But let me just say to the listening audience, I want to thank you for being a part of the show for the first part of the show. But what I do want to do as well is open up some time for you guys. So if there is anyone that is listening to the show and you would like to call in, okay, please feel free to do so. You can call in at this time. Okay, at 770-715-7949. Again, the number is 770-715-7949. Okay, we're going to set aside a little bit of time for anyone that is interested in calling in the show. Please feel free to do so at this time. And we're going to just take a little sip here. I'm going to turn it back over to you. We'll see if anyone calls in.
Yeah, well, while we're waiting on someone to call in, I just wanted to just express this regarding being bitter. Yeah. The word bitter. And, because people are bitter when they don't have children. Yeah. They don't have to deal with each other. Right? So, and we're going to look at this on both sides now. And we got to talk about this pertaining to children. We're only speaking to people who have children. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. These single people who ain't got kids to relate to this, either you're learning or you're changing the channel. Stop commenting. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have children. You hadn't went through nothing regarding children or the opposite sex and co-parenting. So you should save your comments and learn. You know what I mean? So what my point of was getting at, what I was getting at, and I was telling a couple moms this, but when I consult, because I do consult moms in a lane where they tell me that they're dealing with a bitter baby daddy. Right, listen to me good on this now, because we got bitter baby daddy, and we got bitter baby mama. So we got to understand that things in life exist on both sides. Yeah. Right. So when you have a bitter baby mama, it's so much more that can be controlled and damaged. Yeah. I'm just being honest, because they're the primary over the child. Yeah. So when you got a bitter baby daddy, I found that a lot of women are running behind the bitter baby daddy. Because they're trying to get him to be a part of the child's life. Yeah. So my thing is it amazes me at how many women chase behind the man that's not chasing behind the child. Do you hear me? Yeah. I've seen so many women that chase behind the man that's not chasing behind the child. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, do y'all realize that y'all are the primary? Y'all have the prize. If that man don't realize that that prize that you have, that's his loss. Yeah. That's not for you to say, oh, he need to be doing what he's supposed to be doing. Right? Yeah. Right? So at the point, who cares if you didn't realize it? Who cares if you should have known that he wasn't going to be the type of dad? Who cares at that point? You can't take it back.
Yeah.
Right? Just like I can't take back the situation that I've dealt with and had to endure. Right? Right? So at that point, I got to make the right actions after I see that these moms don't want to be effective co-parenting with me for the best interest of our children. Right? So when you got a bitter baby daddy, I feel that, and a lot of women probably attack me about this, but I feel like it would be easier for the mom to handle the situation than a dad handling it against a bitter baby mama. And that's true because she has the control over the child.
Yeah.
Right?
That's very true.
The dad has no control until he takes so many levels through the court, so much money. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I've lost over $60,000 fighting in court. And then people easily say, why you won't go to court? Why you won't take it to court? Why you won't do it? Dude, people really don't understand how much money court costs. You understand?
And $60,000 is a lot of money.
That's just the cash.
Just the cash.
And my belongings.
$60,000 that you lost.
And
right?
my belongings was what I lost because of the conflict and having to pay the court. Job loss here, job loss there because of stalking, harassment. Right? These are the nature of the things that, yeah, I have documentation. And again, people really, really underestimate the level of how I document.
Yeah.
My last position was at UMC. That's why I say I'm highly proud of this position because I learned a lot. I actually investigated child abuse and negligence for the hospital.
Yeah.
I put an interdisciplinary team together regarding legal, risk management, patient affairs, social workers. I'm in the meeting putting all of these entities together to substantiate or unsubstantiate a case regarding abuse or neglect. This isn't my background.
Yeah.
This is my profession that I held.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? So when the nature of my son started enduring these injuries and these burns, and I started to speak up to show documentation to people, people turned on me like this because they knew what I was talking about. They knew I was pushing these issues to court to take whoever abused my son down. You understand what I'm saying?
And unfortunately, it didn't work in your favor.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
Okay.
It didn't. And that happens so much
Yeah.
for regarding children.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't trying to do anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
Protect your child.
protect my son.
Yeah. And let's even talk a little bit about, you being wrongfully incarcerated. Like, let's just even talk about that experience. What was that like?
Well, yeah, I mean, and again, this isn't just about me. It's not just about me because this happens to so many men. This again, another bitter baby mama, bitter baby daddy. A man cannot send a woman to jail if he's bitter.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that.
Yeah.
A man cannot send a woman to jail if he's bitter. But a woman can send a man to jail if she's bitter.
That's it.
Do I need to line them up even more?
The reality is the reality.
That means men have it far worse than women.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? When it comes to children, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's not an automatic equality regarding what's in the best interest for children for them in a relationship with the parents, right? It's giving them a certain amount of control that inevitably causes the worst conflict to the child, for real, and to have to really balance that, it's been a nature of a way of handling things. But I give it the credit to my profession that I've held, that has taught me to remain. Whenever these daycares or these persons don't give the right communication back pertaining to the injuries, or whenever I go to the schools or whatever the case may be, I don't get irate. I don't try to take actions to my own hands by acting a fool, right? Because that's what they expect.
Of course.
That's what they want the black man to do. They want me to lose my cool because they're gonna be, oh yes, see, I told y'all, right? But no, not me. I've never taken actions to my own hands. All I've ever done was record, document, and try to present to people that can help me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But unfortunately, I've faced CPS workers, social workers. I mean, and you can see that on my channel, my TikTok channel, where I'm releasing the footage of a social worker where I'm telling her about these injuries to my child. I'm saying to her, when did you receive the medical records, right? What doctor did you talk to, right? I'm very thorough in information and communication. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel that a lot of fathers and pre-fathers need to be understood to what they need to be thorough about their children. Because if you got a dad that's there, a dad stepping up to the courts should lay out the red carpet. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Because what is it known? But what is it? It's known, highly known, where it's claimed that the majority of fathers aren't there or don't want to be there, right?
I agree.
But the moment a man steps to the court,
I agree.
the very first moment a man steps to the court to say, I'm here. Do you know what they do to those fathers? They charge them, right? They charge them an extreme amount of money, right? They don't say, oh man, this dad here, we know dads is hardly ever known to be in their children's lives, but they claim. That's why I say it's a big claim, right? Because court is about money, right? Granted, we all know the world is about money. However, the court is really about money. You know, it's not about, in my eyes and from what I've seen in my experience for my son, you know, it's not in the best interest for the children. Yeah. It's not. It's about creating a way to gain more money through conflict, right? It's like a lot of viewers on my TikTok channel. They're like, take it to court, take it to court, take it to court. They make me laugh when they say that. They make me laugh.
Yeah.
Seriously.
$60,000 plus. You know, so definitely he has tried all he can in regards to the court system. But unfortunately, sometimes the court system fails the parent, whether or not that's the mother or the father, you know. So just very, very interesting. And what I want to talk about as well, Roderick, of course, I know that you experience, and this is a topic that I always try my very best to bring awareness to. Me being a domestic violence survivor of sexual abuse, things of that nature, right? I love to always, you know, spend time just talking about this topic because it's very, very important for us to talk about. Because a lot of times what happens is, you know, we have women that go through domestic violence, right? But then we have men that endure domestic violence as well. But it's like it's almost less talked about, you know, when it's, you know, when the man is getting beaten on or, you know,
like it don't happen.
Yeah. It's like it's almost like it's not important.
And I'm gonna give you a story of my experience of an abusive ex, right? Mm-hmm. In particular, women know men, especially respectful men who would never put their hands on a woman.
Right.
Those men are who get abused by women because we respect women. We was raised right, right? Had a good relationship with my mom. You know, regardless if she's difficult or not, I respect her. I love my mom, right? She went through some trauma that she, you know, refused to resolve, right? And I identified that. And that'd be a lot of people's problems. They don't identify the parental's unresolved trauma. Yeah. And they automatically let it rub down on themselves and they start treating their own children that way, right?
I agree.
So for the nature of it, and I don't want to move back to when you asked me about jail, when I was wrongfully incarcerated. I was in court, and I'm gonna just say this to anybody who probably is pursuing actions to their children, right? Or think that they got an attorney or trying to get an attorney, or whatever the case may be. You need to be careful. You need to be careful when you're looking for an attorney with these particular type of cases. I was pre-law. I was studying for law school. I actually was studying with my LSAT. I even had a meeting with MC Law School. I told them the nature of my case and how I handled my case. They wanted me to come to law school, period, just on my case alone. Do you hear me? And the nature of how I've represented myself in court before pertaining to the justice court, right? And I've fought against other attorneys myself, pro-self, right, and won. Because I press charges for these things. But however, in the nature of chancery court, justice court, you know, so many different levels of court that people don't understand. People think it's just one court. No, it's different courts for different things that happen in life with people. In particular, domestic issues. Yeah. So the domestic issue that occurred in my past were, and my mom to testify to this. She actually was in the room holding my son in her arms, on her lap, right? And this was when my son's mom and I were living in separate rooms, but in the same house. My mom was staying with us, and this was a time where she was trying to get me back in good graces with her because I was fed up with the way she was treating me, right? And I have text messages of these things. I'm going to release all of this stuff because it needs to be shown. It needs to be heard. It needs to be seen how men are treated wrongfully regarding their children, right? I have text messages and documentation that states she actually was apologizing for being the problem. She's apologized for causing so much hell in my life. She's apologizing for causing so much havoc regarding her mother trying to turn her mother against me, right?
Wow.
These are the nature of things that actually good men have to go through and experience, right? And then people wonder when he gets with another woman and say, okay, I'm a little cautious. I don't know if I'm going to marry you or just taking steps with you, right? Because we like, whoa, we didn't deal with a lot of nature of things before from women who weren't raised right, who didn't have these actual upbringing from their parents to know, okay, look, this is how you act supposed to treat a man. And I feel like that's the importance for children having the relationships with both parents. They'll know how to treat the opposite sex, right? You know, so, but going back to when I actually was wrongfully incarcerated, I actually went to court to pursue how my son has been getting these burns on him, right? I'm talking about any parent, you know, well, first of all, the nature of how it happened was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I'm talking about, you know, we have this ability to do for others. When it comes to your own children, you know, it's like a shocking moment. It's like a shocking,
Absolutely.
you know, it's like I needed help. Nobody wanted to help me.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to juggle through handling these things myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you know, and I just took a deeper approach to where I had to start treating this like a case, like I would at the hospital. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I record everything. That's why I document everything. I prove for everything that I say.
Yeah.
Every single thing that I say, I can prove to anybody. I'm telling anybody. I'm gonna play a recording from my daughter's mom just to show how me trying to communicate with her about the burns that happened to my son, to make her aware of the difficulty for me to being able to continue to do for my daughter, because there was a conflict there. I lose my job because of a case, because of my son's mom harassing me and stalking me and stuff, and then my daughter's mom, hey, what's going on? You know, I'm like, well, look, hey, I've already done for my daughter. You know, it's just I'm going through a job loss here. You know, I'm just trying to keep you updated on what's going on. You know, and she literally, and ever since that conversation, I never heard from my daughter since. And that was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
So you haven't heard from your daughter, and okay, you haven't heard from her in 3 years. So you haven't seen her in 3 years as well.
No, I haven't seen her longer than 3 years.
Okay.
The last time I talked to her was for her birthday, December 16th, 2020, right?
Wow.
And after that same time, I had a conversation that I'm going to show with her mom. And but before that, she moved from Jackson to Atlanta, right? And which is why I moved here, because my daughter's here, right? So that's why I relocated from Mississippi, so that I can continue that relationship with my daughter. And it's not something as easy as people think. Oh, why don't you just call the mom? Why don't you just call the mom? I hate when people ask questions that they don't think about before they ask.
Yeah. Well, you need them to answer if you call.
Right.
That's important.
That's the first thing that needs to happen. And they got to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Or allow that passage to the other parent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Regardless of how they feel,
Mm-hmm.
that's not happening.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, who's the bad guy here?
Yeah. Now, what about for your son? When was the last time you spoke to your son or saw your son?
Yeah, my son. I actually just reached out to his mom for this summer to try to get him, and she told me that she would, and then she turned around and took it back. Right, because I had an event I was doing for children up here in Atlanta, and I wanted him to be a part of it with me, you know. And I let her know before me moving to Georgia that I used to get him all the time when I was in Mississippi. I used to get him for the summer. I go down because he's in a school in a different state. He's in a completely different state. You understand what I'm saying? So after I pressed charges, she relocated. Right, she moved away. Right. So mind you, in any case that you're dealing with, especially this crazy in regard to injuries, it definitely needs to be handled in a delicate way. And I learned from that experience. You know, I want to guide others to not make the same mistakes that I did, to immediately get who they need to get involved, right? To not listen to people who don't know what they're talking about because they haven't experienced this type of case.
Yeah. So what do you think made her move away?
Well, the nature of me, and I have a recording about this with the detective too, where the detective admitted fault regarding the injuries, stated that the case had been mishandled, you know. So after I pressed charges against her, she moved away. Okay. Literally. After I pressed charges, she moved away. She literally sold her house and moved away. Took him to Olive Branch, Mississippi, where she currently is now. and I had to drive to see him. But the last time I saw him again was before. It was not this summer, but prior, right? Before summer, before last. And I was going to his school, and it's on my TikTok. I mean, I was going to his school. You know what I'm saying? And I was prevented from doing even then, and that's why I had to talk to the teacher. I mean, to the principal, because the principal stated that she said to them, "I'm not allowed to come back up there anymore to see him."
What was the reason?
No reason at all. That's what I'm saying, because they claim it wasn't in the court orders. I'm like, wait, but it's not in the court orders for me not to come to the school to see my son.
Right.
So you're saying that y'all, they're just claiming these things. You know what I'm saying? It's so much manipulation that occurs when fathers are trying to be fathers. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I hate when people start talking about stuff that they don't know, right? Until they see the proof and the truth.
The proof and the truth. Right. I love that. The proof and the truth. You guys, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate you being here on the live with us. Again, if you are interested in calling in to ask myself, Dr. Kristle Shanell, or Roderick a question, please feel free to do so. If you have a comment or a concern, please feel free to give us a call at 770-715-7949. Again, that number is 770-715-7949. Do you want to play that recording now, or you want to say something else?
I will play the recording now. And this is just basically kind of, give people a understanding on how fathers try. Fathers do try to resolve conflict within their own ability with their mother, right? But again, this goes back to the bitter baby mama, bitter baby daddy, where the bitter baby mama causes more damage than a bitter baby daddy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if a bitter baby daddy is bitter, he's bitter, but he's bitter over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't chase the bitter man.
Yeah.
If you don't want to chase the child, you shouldn't be chasing him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, let me repeat that again. If he doesn't want to chase the child, you should not be chasing him. Because there's so many women that do that.
Yeah, that's very true.
But it blows my mind
That's true.
how they think that they have to chase the man to make him be a father. I'm like, I'm sorry, but
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way.
It's supposed to be a natural thing.
It's just, absolutely.
That just happens. It's supposed to be a natural thing. That's something that God gives us, right? The ability of how to be a mother or how to be a father. That's not something that we, do we go to a class? And
it's shown too now. And this is from me speaking from how I saw it developing myself to be a father. Mm-hmm. I saw my father being a father.
That's it.
I saw him love my mom. And I was 8 years old when my dad died. Okay? And I was young enough to see that much of him and that action towards my mom. Yeah. Right?
And you remember. So that's a good thing. Right. He left this world with you having that vision in your mind. And you'll always remember that, So that's very, very good to allow, to be able to just take on, what you saw your father do. And of course, try to be, of course, not try. We're not going to use the word try, but to be the best father that you exactly know how to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even being hindered from doing things as far as like knowing if they're okay, being able to protect my daughter, being able to hug her if she feels like she's threatened or she has that moment where she's scared. I can't make her know that, hey, daddy's here. That is what the children are missing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's affecting them to where it's developing them in like little traits, character traits about themselves that's not good for them, right? That's it. So, but that's how you have so many messed up people, though.
That's it.
Right? Mm-hmm. You have these doctors and these lawyers, these judges, right, who aren't treating people right. Those are people who weren't raised right. Yeah. Those 9 times out of 10, they didn't have a good relationship with one or the other parent, or they didn't identify the trauma that was unresolved within that parent.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. And not only that, what I definitely want to encourage, the mothers and the fathers, if you're in your child's life and you're taking care of your child, then I want to definitely encourage you just to say, make sure you take some time out to seek counseling for that child. Take some time out and seek counseling for that child because it's needed. These children growing up, and unfortunately, they're having many, many different thoughts about their mothers or many different thoughts about their fathers, and that just open the door of so many different things. It makes the child feel like they're not worthy, or am I not good enough? My mother didn't want me, my daddy didn't want me. So many thoughts that these kids have to think about. School alone is very stressful for the children, right? and just to have these additional things that they're dealing with at school, whether or not it's the bullying and trying to stay away from drugs and trying to stay away from sex and all these different topics and things that may come up while they're in middle school or high school. We want to definitely make sure, if you feel that your child needs to have the assistance of going to see a counselor, or a therapist, please feel free to take that time out for your child and do that. You're doing more advantage than disadvantage.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. It's a lack, but I think though, just thinking about it, to where and I have to say it in this lane because everything has its own lane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because looking at myself, college educated, went to school, wanted to make something of myself, right? And then you got those lane of men who really don't care about success, about growth. Those are the men who don't even need to be communicated about while talking to me. Don't talk to me about a man like that because I'm not that man.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not that man. So don't talk to me about that man. I'm just saying, but it's crazy how a woman is see a certain type of man and talk about another man that's not even right in front of them. I'm like, well, look, no. We're talking about fathers who want to do for their children.
Yeah.
And who are prevented from doing so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the system ain't doing nothing about those deadbeat dads, right? What? You understand what I'm saying? It's like, what is the purpose?
Yeah.
Like, identify who's doing and wanting to do. Collaborate with them, right?
Yeah.
So, but no, I get attacked for saying I want to be there, I want to be present. I get attacked. I'm talking about we're probably just so many negativity, but just going back to the jail and incarceration perspective of what actually happened. I was pursuing actions on this to the court. They never heard me. They lied, manipulated documentation. The attorneys that I had knew her side. It's just so much manipulation that goes in the court. The attorney that I actually had didn't want to actually state what I wanted him to state to the judge. Him and I had disagreements before even going to the courtroom. If anybody out there who has an attorney and that attorney is disagreeing with you, fire them. Fire that attorney. You can fire your attorney. Do not be scared to fire your attorney. Even if you paid them that retainer, you can sue them back. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't learn these things when I was going through them. I learned a lot of things after going through this process, right? Yeah. Which helped me develop something that's going to help a lot of people.
That's it.
Right? So with that being said, it's like a lot of people take it for a joke. They do. A lot of people take it for a joke. And 9 times out of 10, the people that take these things that we're talking about for a joke, they've never had to deal with it, right? They never had to experience these level of things. Yeah. Or they are actually the type of person that's dishing this type of negativity out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but going forward though, within how the judge didn't hear me at all, didn't want to hear me. And when you get to court, it's fast. They don't care about your lives. It's a piece of paper in court, right? Yeah. So the only thing they wanted in court was money, right? They asked me how much money I had in my pocket, and I told them $500 in my pocket, right? They wanted all of it. I handed them $500 in the court.
They didn't leave you with $1.
They didn't leave me with nothing. Look, let me just say, because she claimed I was behind on child support.
Wow.
We was in court. She was like, hey, he ain't did this, he ain't did that. Nobody reviewed the documentation and the receipts that I got that I've been paying thousands of dollars for child support. Mm-hmm. The court didn't care at all to review what I had to show them.
And that information is on your TikTok as well.
Oh, I haven't posted all the receipts, but I'll be glad to show anybody receipts. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The court didn't want to see it. Yeah. Because they knew what they would have to do and show that, okay, yeah, the dad is doing what he's supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Right. But just saying the least, I was under Chapter 13 bankruptcy. I don't know if anybody knows the law or knows anything about bankruptcy, right? However, Chapter 13 bankruptcy is an automatic stay. It's a protection where you're paying your bills, paying your child support within that bankruptcy, right? And the judge identified this to the judge, and the judge just did not care. Now I say men have it so far worse when it comes to this whole bitter baby daddy, bitter baby mama thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I'll argue anybody at the end of the day about that. Yeah. If a woman says a man is bitter, right? Okay, then y'all have a child. Okay, so is he sending you anything? Is he doing anything? he may still be bitter and paying child support, but he just don't want to be involved because of the nature of the conflict that y'all had, right?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's common. I know a mom I consulted, she said, yeah, he's sending a little something according to what the system making him send, but I'm like, but the system is the one who's setting that regulation for him to send that money. So why are you complaining about it?
Do you know how many?
But do you know how many moms complain about what the system is saying for the dads to pay, and they still are complaining about it? Right? Then take them on child support and work out something better with them. Then they don't want to open up that opportunity. They don't want to open up that co-parenting relationship. They don't want to open up that positive co-parenting relationship for the child.
Yeah, and my thing is, listen, I agree with it. Whether or not it's the parent, whoever has that child, whether or not that child gets the funds through child support, or whether or not the parent and the parents work out a deal, or whatever we want to call it, right? So that they are able to assist one another with that particular child. But a lot of times I think, you have mothers or fathers that put the other party on child support because of what reason, right? 9 times out of 10, the person that is on, that's not really on the court papers, child support, 9 times out of 10, they are the ones that is giving the other parent a hard time, getting the money, right? So of course, if little JoJo daycare is due on Monday and Papa or Mama did not send that money until the end of the month, then now you got one parent that's stressed out, that may be living paycheck to paycheck, no check to no check, broke check to broke check. You understand? So, paycheck to paycheck, broke check to broke check, just whatever works. But at the end of the day, you have one party that may not be making that much funds.
But that's the thing I want to say this about that.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Because, when a mom and a dad, moms and dads, I see a lot of parents that be together and they be broke taking care of their kids. Let me just say this. Hold on.
Okay.
They have their children with them.
Okay.
Out of the household, together, both of them are struggling, right? For whatever reasons. I'm just saying. But it's funny to me how when those two parents are apart, right? But then they involve the system then at that point.
Of course.
You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, wait, y'all were both struggling together taking care of the kid. But now at the point y'all apart, right? Why can't y'all still work together to take care of the kids?
But it may be a situation where there's still a bitter baby mama or a bitter baby daddy, right?
Of course.
that you talked about earlier.
Right.
And unfortunately, because somebody's bitter, then okay, let me just go ahead and put you on this child support thing. You know what I mean? Let me put you on the system. I'm not even going to use the word that I really wanted to say. I'm going to clean it up for the show on this afternoon. I'm going to stay away from what I really wanted to say. But yeah, they put you on child support because they're like, okay. And then not only that, just keeping your peace, the stress, the aggravation. Listen, the world, the life is stressful. So now, okay, if we got a child together and you're supposed to pay me my money on the first of the month and you're not giving me my money till the 22nd, listen, the baby daycare bill still got to be paid.
Right.
Diapers, wipes, pull-ups, whatever. These things still have to be purchased.
Absolutely. And the thing is that when the court gets involved, right? And most of them all they get the court involved, and they'll have the dad on child support, but then they'll be wanting more additional stuff. But by that time, the conflict exists. So it's like the man will be like, okay, no, this is what the court said. So this is what you wanted. This is what the court said.
And normally that's what they give them.
And nothing more. But this is what the mom asked for, though. Going to the court, though.
Of course. But you do have some fathers and some mothers really that go the extra mile, right? They would even do more for that child beyond the child support. And I commend whoever that person is, that mother or that father that is doing more beyond the child support. Look, kudos to you. High five. Absolutely.
It's not about none of that to me. Okay, it's about getting along.
Absolutely.
It's about getting along.
Getting along.
Because I went over and beyond for my kids. I still do. Even without seeing them. You understand what I'm saying?
Course.
That's why I'm doing this.
Of course.
Because the kids are going to get older. And I talk to a lot of dads who are children are older. Even some moms' children are older where they say they experienced something in the nature of what I've experienced. I'm like, oh, was your child abused? No, he wasn't abused. But I did experience some conflict. So the nature of the conflict between the relationships it's almost like it's not gonna stop.
Yeah. And even let's even talk about this abuse, because you said that, and I just immediately thought about the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse. Roderick shared pictures of his son, with different burn marks, and what happened to his son. But at the end of the day, let's even talk about the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, of course. We're talking about the mental abuse, again, the different things that the children have to go through. It's really, really important for us to be very careful about how we speak to our children. Let me just be honest, y'all. Some days I love my little chocolate covered peanut, Elijah. I love him to pieces. But some day that little boy like to try me. You follow what I'm saying? And I have listen, my mother, I know she probably out here watching this show, right? But she have to, just kind of bring me down, like Kristle, calm down. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna need you to get on your knees and pray. And I'm like, listen, I ain't trying to hear all that. This boy that tried me.
Let me tell you why I feel a lot of women struggle.
And I know you upstairs hearing me, right?
Yeah, but let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I feel a lot of women struggle, okay. And it's almost like it's an inevitable struggle.
Tell us about it.
Because women are nurturers.
Yeah.
At the point when a child turns 10 and above, it's time for you to let go and say, no, boom, daddy, get it. Period. 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 Period.
Okay.
Because moms and my mom, I look at her and it's like she's the best nurturer in the world.
But okay, we carry
but
these
fighting against them though, in the nature of where they're developing.
Oh Jesus!
Right, that's for the dad to handle.
Listen,
not the mom.
Listen, Linda. Listen. Listen, you taking me back.
Because we can handle it.
You're taking me back, right? But absolutely, my son is 15. He'll be 16 in December, right? Oh my God, I got a 16-year-old soon. But at the end of the day, even a few months ago, we had a little struggle, y'all. I said, listen, Linda, listen, okay? I'm the mother. I carried you for 9 months. Listen, I had to, even on the way to church, right, this morning, I told him, I said, listen, I'm the mother. We were talking about his game or his PS game or whatever the thing is called. And I said, I'm the mother. I carried you here in my stomach for 9 months. I birthed you. You didn't birth me. You know what I mean? He's like, mom. But he is, he's a good kid overall, you guys. He really is. But, we have our little time sometimes where he be trying mama, okay?
And a lot of times.
And mama be like, listen, don't even play with it, okay?
And that a lot of times too, that can be easier for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the support of the dad. Meaning,
right,
boy, you respect your mama. Let me hear about you disrespect your mama again.
Exactly.
I bet he ain't finna do no. Come on now.
Absolutely.
That comes from the dad.
That's very true. That's
very true. Mothers are nurturers.
That's very true.
Y'all created to nurture, to produce a child.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's amazing because like he told me this morning, he said, Mom, I'm 15. You need to stop treating me like I'm 5. He'll tell me that every now and again, and I'm like, oh, you stole my baby.
Right. That's your natural response. You're my baby.
I almost had a panic attack as well.
But that's what I'm saying, though. But it's so natural.
My baby.
Right. But you hear what you're saying?
Until I have another child, he is still my baby.
Because you're wanting to nurture, is what I'm saying. It's like common for women. That's what y'all are. Nurturers.
So you guys listen. Okay, Elijah went to Steve Harvey camp about a month and some change ago, right? And let him not even just tell his side of the story. But Steve Harvey had them through a little boot camp. Let me just be honest, right? So he didn't appreciate that boot camp. But I think overall he had a good time, right? But the boot camp, I felt that they needed that. They really needed that because they needed to exhaust some of that energy that they have. But he didn't appreciate that portion of it. But the one thing that Steve Harvey did say was right. He said, stop calling these kids your baby and little boys and this and that and the third. He said, keep on. Just keep on calling them little boys.
I never liked when my mama called me baby.
He said, keep on calling them little boys. Keep on calling them little babies.
You're gonna get rebel back again.
I'm telling you.
I'm a man. I was a young man. I was a little boy. Right? I have a mother that I love. So it's like I'm the product of what he's gonna develop it to be if certain things continue, like meaning the rebelling against. I didn't rebel against my mom to the worst extent.
Yeah.
But I did tell my mom, like, Mom, stop calling me a baby. I never needed a pat on the back from my mom.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And in certain kids, you have to learn your kids.
Yeah.
You gotta know how your children are. Like, I didn't need that type of you can do it, Roger. No, I was able to do that myself.
Listen, y'all pray for me, okay? Because I'm still struggling. Let me just be honest,
You're gonna
okay?
be okay.
Again, until I have another baby, that's my baby. That's my chocolate covered peanut.
That's what I'm saying. That is my prime example.
That's my big youth. Let me say that. How about that?
It's like
How does that sound?
mom cannot.
My big youth.
And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying with that inability to cut it off,
yeah,
the dad needs to be involved.
That's very true. That's very true. All right, we got, let me see. I'm going to read a message here that we have. Okay, Roger, it doesn't look like nobody want to talk to us today.
That's all good.
Nobody called in. Nobody want to talk to us.
They show me comment
y'all
on TikTok. Y'all sure got a lot of things to say on TikTok. But now the time we got to call in.
They don't want.
And they choked up.
Listen, they got one word to say. Again, if you are interested in calling in on the show, please feel free to do so at this time. Like right now, okay? Call in at 770-715-7949. We got some laughs over there at TikTok. And also TikTok, thank you for the hearts. I see y'all giving us some love. I don't know what Instagram out here doing. I see a couple of people on this Instagram live.
Hey,
okay, Tish says that could make you snap and give you such emotional drain, not being able to help or protect your child. Listen, that is very, very true. Q, I see you out there listening and tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys, everybody that's listening in and tuning in, thank y'all so much for the love and support. Now, if you love us even the more, continue to, tap that little screen there and give us some hearts. I don't think Instagram loves us though, but I know TikTok loves us today.
Yeah, well, it's all good. The purpose of this is to bring awareness to child abuse prevention.
That's it.
To bring awareness to conflict resolution for the best interests of children. No parent should be fighting over their children.
That's very true.
Again, no parent should be fighting over their children.
None.
And I encourage others to not fight over their children, right? It's possible, right?
Yeah.
It's highly possible. It's something that more people, more families need to focus on.
Uh-huh.
This is how we teach our young men to respect women, right?
Yeah.
We need to teach our young women to respect men.
Yeah.
To not use children as a weapon.
Exactly. Now, I did see someone come on TikTok and ask to join. I'm asking for you to please call in. We're not accepting any live screen videos. So please call in at 770-715-7949. And that's going to be the only way you can talk to us on today, okay? So please call in, whoever that was trying to come on to the TikTok live, okay? All right, so let's talk about damage proof and, of course, your mentoring program. You do so many different things. I mean, the man is like, listen, you jack of all trade, right?
Yeah, we have to be. We have to be because nothing is promised to.
Come on through.
Especially as black men.
Come on.
There's nothing's promised or jobs aren't promised to. We're working for people. They'll instantly fire us, especially when we're dealing with some issues regarding our children. Yeah. I've been terminated from jobs because I have issues going on with my son.
Wow.
Do you hear me?
Wow.
UMC Hospital fired me because I presented this to my boss at the time. Mm-hmm. And I actually was like, look, hey, my son's going through this. I had a counselor at the time. They recommended that I take time off from work. And they fired me while on FMLA.
Wow.
Literally. I got the documentation to prove this.
Wow.
Again, nothing when I say, everything I say I can prove. Mm-hmm. I'm not joking.
Wow.
I wouldn't be saying it if I couldn't prove it via documentation or video recording or some evidence that let people know and validate, let people know that I'm speaking with full validity here. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And my purpose of this show, again, I keep speaking it, is to have equality regarding parenting, right? No parent should be despaired from either one. No child should be despaired from either one of their parents, right? Yeah. And that's what I desire to do within my program. And my initiative through my program and my corporation organization is called Damage Proof. I started with the after school mentorship program here. You can go through it, you can open it up and show the inside this book is a start to get to know first here, where you go through a rundown here of where you get in a relationship, building a relationship with the kid, and you're doing social life issues, you're going over to school, and just to be school plays here. Like we got a weekly schedule, it keeps going where we're going over emotional damages, physical. You feel like you have an issue with your parent, let's talk about it. How can we make it better? We work on resume building, social media. We talk about social media. We're going over resolving conflicts, exploring emotions, what's like getting the kids to learn about their emotions, different emotions that they have. and more. Set goals for them. Workforce development is a huge one. Just setting a map for the kids, right? Workforce development is another thing that's huge too, because a lot of course, in schools they take a lot of that out of the schools nowadays, to where kids aren't learning those trades, right? They're forcing them to do certain things where they really will be jobless in the future. So I have resources that are in position, right? And my goal is to have this in different cities. First starting here. Well, I started in Mississippi, but converted to Georgia. But my next stage is to push the same initiative in Texas as well. So once I gain enough support and sponsorship, and with this initiative, it will begin to grow. So I've already gotten the nature of the resources I have now as a couple of businesses who partner with me to provide kids outlets such as bowling, paintballing, sports events. I'm potentially waiting on a sponsorship from Dick Sport Goods. So I'm pushing this program in a huge way, no matter what conflict I've been in doing, no matter what barriers or hindrance I've experienced regarding as a parent, right? Because I know that the situation is gonna work out for me and my children, right? Absolutely. I have all faith that it will. However, it is a process. People think that things that happen at the snap of a finger, you're unrealistic. You are unrealistic. If you think these type of things happen like this, you're unrealistic.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. And it's amazing, you guys, because I have had several different people that have experienced, kind of similar situations where their children have been out of their lives for 10 and 15 years. And I'm telling you, if God did it for them, he will definitely do it for you. And it's amazing because when I first spoke to those individuals, I told them, I prophesied it into their lives. And I said, listen, just because it did not look, as if, you were not going to be able to see your children in the future, I said, you will definitely be able to see your kids in the future. And I'm so grateful. I am just overjoyed that God used me as a vessel, to speak life into those particular people. And when I tell you, it's just, when I hear the stories and how, they're spending that quality time together and going on trips and enjoying themselves on vacation and different things of that nature. And the children are spending the night, and one moved in. And, when the one particular child was away with like the foster parents for several years, and she just recently moved back in with the mother. And after being out of the mother's life for many years. So it's just a blessing to hear those type of stories. And I am excited and can't wait until, the day you call me and say, listen, Doc, I got my boy, I got my girl, and it's going to happen. So keep speaking it.
Yeah, because I'm not going to give up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not going to give up.
Absolutely.
That's the whole point.
That's the most important
not giving
piece.
Up.
Not giving
and
up.
A lot of, how many people want me to give up though?
True.
Do you know how many people want me to give up?
My
kids' mothers want me to give up. They want me to stop trying to see my children.
No.
Because at that point they'll be able to say, "Oh, he's nothing. He's a deadbeat. He doesn't want to do."
Yeah.
They'll be able to say that.
Yeah, but you're not
giving them
that.
Right. So, but that's again, that's something that is completely so common, and a lot of people would disagree with what I'm saying, but it's highly common for men to get taken advantage of by the system, by moms who have that authority to think they have that authority to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's called abuse. Yeah. System abuse. How is it that the system is specifically supposed to be in play to bring righteousness, equal parenting, right? But it never happens.
That's true.
Right? The system, and I'm going to go back to child support. Because at a point where I was on child support, actually put myself on child support, right? Well, people don't know. I actually had, and I'm going to go back to this too, I had to skip, but I actually had custody of my son. Yeah. Wow. I have documentation where I actually had custody of him. And she signed over custody of him while we were living together. Okay, I have a pink paper from the court, from the attorney, and I also have the payments that I paid to get this because it was her idea, right? If we were to part, and I got text messages, documentation, and everything pertaining to this. That's why I say I'm gonna have to release all of this information because it's true. It's the nature of what needs to be told, right? So. With that being said, but when I started to see certain things about her, started to see the flirting, see the craziness, how she hated her mom, and how she started to open up and start to treat me. I'm like, what? Ain't nobody got time for this no more. This ain't how I want to have a woman on my own. I ain't got time for this craziness.
Right.
You know what I mean? A man can get tired of stuff.
I understand.
Like, but no, the man says, but this is the thing. I tried to help her before I said,
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's good.
Right. But people be like, you didn't see these signs. You didn't see this in the woman beforehand. And people make me laugh when they say that. You didn't see the signs. I'm like, well, for one, I didn't. My dad wasn't in my life to say, hey, son, look, this XYZ, right? You need to know this about a woman. Like that little bit of information could have saved a lot of conflict for me.
Yeah.
And even coming from my mom. Now my mom, she was definitely trying to guard me and my brother from going after girls because she rather let us go anywhere when we were younger, right? And unless it was involving sports, because I was an athlete, of course. But it's just, I don't know, it's just for the nature of where I've developed. I've always been respectful, and I've always been taken advantage of for being nice. You know how they say that nice guys finish last?
Of course.
You're looking at one.
Listen, and the good girls finish last as well.
Yeah, I just
You're
said
looking
so
at
much.
one.
I said it happens on both sides.
Yeah.
And when it happens to people begin to get so judgmental, right? And honestly, I don't care about being judged.
Yeah.
I've judged walking through the emergency department with my son, right, by myself when he has injuries.
Yeah.
And that's why I said this case is so
people
crazy.
automatically think you caused the problem.
Yeah,
you
for real.
did the damage.
But the mom didn't want to take him to the appointments though.
Why?
Okay, so these appointments, I feel like we're everywhere, but at the same time we need to be. Right? If you want to see more of my case, more of my story, go to my TikTok channel. I'm releasing everything.
Yeah.
Okay?
Damage proof, right?
Damage proof, yes.
Okay.
Damage proof is my TikTok name. I'm going to be releasing more content pertaining to the truth, pertaining to how men are taken advantage of and used, and children are used to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So the first burn my son had, and I'll go back to the burn on his arm. Mm-hmm. She stated that while playing tummy time, he crawled, he stepped in front of a heater. He backed up in front in the heater, and she jumped up to go make sure he was okay. Now, mind you, my son was 9 months old at the time. She said he was playing tummy time and got a burn on his left arm, right? Mm-hmm. And all the moms that are watching, I want y'all to put yourselves in an area where this is your son, this is your child, right? Okay. So this is the burn. This is the burn here on his arm. You can see he's in a carrier. That is a carrier for him to be carried, right? He's 9 months old, right? Right? So I don't know if y'all can see it clearly, but I'm gonna put it closer for everybody. Anybody see the burn on his arm? Okay, I'm going to tell y'all about the burn on his arm. And this is the highlight of why everything started. Because before any burn started happening to my son, I was on child support. Everything, nothing. I didn't have a problem with being on child support through the system, right? It was taking money out of my check from UMC for years, and I got documentation because the UMC, they keep up with what's being taken out of your check, right, for you. And I was like, good, I ain't gotta keep up with that. Woo, I gotta keep up with all the receipts, right? So I have proof. It's amazing because it didn't even matter in court. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So she stated these things about the burn, which she claimed he backed into a space heater. But I'm like, but then in the documentation, she stated, she texted me that the heater was unplugged. So I'm like, how did he get burned and the heater was unplugged? And how is he on tummy time and get burned? Babies during tummy time, they're learning how to crawl. Again, when you're playing tummy time, the baby trying to learn how to crawl. So if you got a heater by your baby that's trying to learn how to crawl, right? It's just something about that does not make sense, right? And the doctors, they didn't care. They actually didn't want me to come to the clinic, ask them questions about it, right? She kept telling me to stop going to the clinic. They don't want to hear me about what I got to say. I'm like, why is she being so defensive or trying to keep me away from asking questions to the doctors? I mean, nobody paying attention. The CPS ain't paying attention to these things, right? Right? So this is this first burn. And at the point where I'm trying to talk to her, it's like you get nothing from her. If anybody want to ask her about these burns, this is what she'll say. And this is an email from the daycare. The daycare said that we didn't already took this case and it been resolved. And I'm like, what? We ain't been nothing resolved. What are you talking about? But that was what she told the daycare, right? So, and this is him. Look at this. I'm talking about my man was just, I had to wrap his arm up when I got him. You know, nobody understands what I've had to endure for my son. I'm talking about it's been unbelievable. So let's move forward to the second burn, right? This is his face. He has a burn to the left side of his face, right? This was at a different age, different time, right? After they claimed she didn't abuse him, right? So they claimed he scratched his face at daycare, right? So, and I questioned the daycare and I was like, ma'am, you know, and I had to send emails and everything. So they told me that I'm never allowed to come to the daycare no more, right? For no reason. This is after I asked to meet with the mom and meet with the daycare. The mom messaged me saying they don't want to see that. They don't want to hear your mess. Don't go to that daycare no more, right? And in the video, that's why she was wanting to take him to daycare. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I could take my son to daycare. I could drop him off to daycare to school, which is what I want to do. I want to be involved. She prevented me from even continuing to be involved because she was covering up things, right? That's the truth. That is the truth. The law don't want to hear this. I got a record from the detective, right? No, I said I have proof, but I'm going to play the video, of course, with my daughter's mom, and we're going to go back to where I'm going to let my daughter's mom know about these things that hasn't happened to my son because it affected my ability to continue to proceed to provide for my daughter, right? Did she care? Not at all. So the third burn that happened to my son was his right wrist. Y'all should see the social workers and the CPS information about this burn right here. That's his wrist. Okay? That's his right wrist. So the social worker stated that this is not self-inflicting, right? This is the third burn, might have you. And that was his right wrist. Social worker said that this is abuse. They stated that this is not self-inflicted. It looked like a cigar burn on his wrist. These are the doctors and the social workers with heavy concerns regarding my son. Do you hear me? So apparently the CPS worker, the social worker is on my TikTok. She actually stated she had no concerns about my child. Literally, everybody go to my TikTok and view this. Damage proof. She had no concerns about my child. This is what the social worker told me.
Wow.
And she said she received the medical records, which she lied. When she got on the stand in juvenile court, because this is the nature of it. People think, oh, everything goes to chancery court. Just no, there's a juvenile court, right? That the kids are, documented regarding the incident and is presented to the juvenile court, which in most cases, juvenile court is supposed to happen expeditiously, right? But there were delays. There were omitted information, right? Meaning they left out pertinent information pertaining to his injuries, right? The forensic report, right? All of these things weren't provided regarding my child. They was like, he scratched himself. I remember like it was yesterday. A judge said to me, Mr. AIKENS, kids have accidents. Then what this woman said to me about my burned son. Son has been burned multiple times. She said, kids have accidents, Mr. AIKENS. This what she said to me. I'm like, oh my God. I walked out of that courtroom crying. Do you hear me? Wow. And one of my frat brothers at the time, his wife was a judge who I tried to take my case, right? But because of the nature of how it's so crooked in the court systems and how people know each other and they won't take cases if they know this person. They won't take this case unless it's this. Oh, it's some circumstances. I don't know about that case. Nobody's just out to help people. Yeah. It's about money. Yeah. It is not about children. Do you hear me? Yeah. They do not make it about children. I don't care what nobody says. They do not make it about kids and what's in the best interest of children. Yeah. It's all about money. Yeah. Period. It's all about money. Wow. It's for real. So I've had to fight, in the right ways. Because if I wanted to fight how I want to fight, imagine that.
We don't even know what that would look like. So, again, for a father that really wants to be in the child's life and unfortunately, or his children's life, and unfortunately not able to do so because of various reasons, I can only imagine, the stress, the drama, the trauma, the depression, the anxiety, and different things of that
Yeah,
nature that you had to
it's
go
definitely
through.
been hard, but I'm strong enough. I've always been built like a rock. I have my downward spirals. I went through depression, anxiety. I've been in the hospital for anxiety attacks. All kind of stuff. You wouldn't be able to tell what a person goes through, right, unless you ask them, right? They tell you,
That's it.
But I've had some struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not only that, just the mere fact that you wanted to give up once upon a time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I wanted to just stay, you know what? Forget this. It's too difficult. These women, I'm going to just see my kids when they get older. And that be most of the case.
Yeah.
The fathers, they're going to say, you know what? This is too much. It's too difficult to conflict. And they cause it. I just see my baby when they want to reach out to me, or when their mamas, get over it, or whatever, however long that's going to take.
Exactly.
Right. But
exactly.
good fathers going to be like, heck no, I don't want to miss no time with my kid.
Mhm.
I'm not going to walk away because they being difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I say a lot of times it's just not worth it. It's not worth the fight. These unnecessary issues and conflict that these moms be pushing out because they want the father to do. But I'm like, if y'all got fathers that's doing a little bit for y'all children, you better like seriously, like, because the dad.
You better tell God thank you.
Yeah, it's like unbelievable. And then there's also too, I've seen a lot of conflict that's created because a lot of people's inability to literally just want to get along.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like him. I don't like her. Just not want to get along. If I had the opportunity to talk to my kids' mom and say, look, what's going on? Like, can we not get on the same page at this point in these kids' lives?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But they won't allow that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they want to continue this drama. They want to continue the conflict. Right? So, which led me to develop my program. Right? Because I feel like a lot of children need to be aware of how to handle certain things.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can't always catch everything, unfortunately, unless it's just something that's set up with a lot of money that you can create a lot of resources. So with the kids who are growing up with their parents, right, and they part, it's different from when they grow up without the parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because they had the child, they had parent in their life, and they're separated. So the child got to deal with that shift, right? So then you got the parent that grows up without that parent, right? So it's like I wonder, like, if I had my father in my life, would I have made such selections with women? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you got to think about these type of things.
Yeah.
And then the people like, how you choose her? You choose her. You chose her. You don't know who you choosing until after you done chose her.
Come on through.
You don't know who you choosing.
Speak the truth.
Until after you done chose them. I hate when people are like, you chose her. You chose him. I'm like,
you do this, you do that.
Yeah. No. People manipulate until you find it out. People will lie until you find it out. I'm talking about, she messages me, I'm sorry I'm the problem. I'm sorry I'm lying. I'm sorry I've done these things. I have this proof, right? But because of the nature of me continuing to go through this process, which is what they call it, the process, but the process is about you not breaking. The process is how much you can handle.
Yeah.
The process is how much you learn from this crazy difficulty, right? The process is you not taking the actions in your own hands, doing something catastrophic that you'll regret. Right? The process is not committing suicide. The process is not letting depression defeat you, right? Without seeing your children. People don't understand. Let me take some kids away from mom. Let me just take them away. See how y'all feel. Let me just take y'all children, right? Unless you just don't want to be bothered with the kids. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wrong because I'm saying I want to be a father. Mm-hmm. People got the nerve enough to talk down at me. Mm-hmm. I'm saying I want to be there, right? It's amazing how good men are just spit on. Yeah. For real.
But it's very interesting, again, of people's thought process. And again, everybody has the right to feel however they want to feel or have their opinion about different things, right? But let it be your situation. Let the situation knock on your door and let's see how you would feel about it, right? Or how you would handle it, So it's look, I tell people all the time, I can give 2 brown pennies. Okay, and that's the clean version of me saying what I want to say, right? But I can give, because I don't do no cursing on the show, right? But I can give 2 brown pennies about what anybody have to say about me. Do you hear me?
Right.
All right, just wanted to make myself clear. For the TikTok community, for the Instagram community, all the social media platforms. Listen, Dr. Kristle Shanell loves you, right? But I can give 2 brown pennies about what anybody have to say about me. Okay, with love.
And I think more people should be that way because so many people care about what the next person say, and it affects them to be able to grow. It affects them to be able to progress through. It affects them to be able to continue their mission, why they were here, why I went through this, but unfortunately, right, unbeknownst to me on why this turned out this way, because I tried my best.
Yeah.
Right.
You did.
And you can't just say, oh, I'm looking down on myself because of what they're doing now. And I was at that point. I'm like, dang, what do I gotta do for them to just stop causing havoc?
Yeah.
Right? I can't pick up my kids from school because they don't want me to.
Right.
I'm like, you know how many moms want the dad to pick up the children from school?
Right.
Oh my goodness. So I'm like, I've had to fight against what millions of moms are craving for. But it makes me think, are moms really craving for that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are they really craving for that fatherly support?
Yeah.
Or are they craving for the man?
That's it.
So, Roderick, let's just talk a little bit about for the parents that is interested in your program. Talk to us and let us know your social media platform so that that particular parent or parents can reach out to you about your program.
So, in particular, you can all reach me on my Instagram currently, where I'm staging everything and I'm putting everything out there as far as like what I'm offering regarding the program. It's definitely for children initially, but it's trickling up to help middle-aged adults, and older adults as well, in areas to prevent child abuse. And I say this, and I say that first, because if we foster things that we're supposed to foster as parents, right, the abuse won't happen, right? There will be no unnecessary conflict. Right, and you will see a difference in your child. Yeah. Right. So for the parents, I definitely open up a mentorship program via Zoom or in person. You're in the same state. We definitely can set up arrangements to where we can consult and provide these resources for your child. Right, regarding financial management, financial wealth, regarding legal aid, regarding workforce development. Regarding pre-parenting, right? Providing resources and education on before you become a parent, what to expect, when you become a parent, right? How to deal with these situations better to better themselves, to prevent them from losing thousands of dollars, right? To prevent them from going through emotional damage, prevent them from having anxiety attacks, prevent them from committing suicide, to prevent them from killing others. These are the nature of the things that my program will prevent, right? It will help people through the nature of, unfortunately, I've had to experience myself in my life for my children's life, right? So, granted, I definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. But through the tunnel, I've been developing my own process, right? I've been developing my own advisory board committee, right? To where I have a counselor, right? To where I have resources for legal aid, right? To where I have resources for financial wealth. To where I have resources for workforce development. To where I have resources to help autistic kids, right? So these are the nature of things that I'm developing, and through the conflict that I've had to experience with my own children, small, right? So I've taken the bad and turned it into something good. That's it. Right? And that's why, if anybody has anything to question about me and my ethics as a father or my past or whatever the case may be, here it is right here. Okay? So, I just encourage moms to, if y'all are enduring, no matter the age, because you have different moms going through different conflicts with their children or with their kids' dads, right? Yeah. You need to get somebody involved. You have to get somebody involved. Stop acting like you privately handling something that don't nobody else know about. Like, for real, it's unbelievable how so many moms are like, oh no, I don't want nobody to know my business. No, if your child bad, He needs some manly advice. He needs some guidance, period. Okay? Community help.
It's called community help. Exactly.
And I keep it real, because like I was coaching these guys the other day, and I witnessed something that I wish I hadn't, but I did. And it was an older man, and he didn't have the patience with the kids anymore. He was cussing them out, everything, and it really struck a nerve with me because I'm like, man, I see how, certain people, not everybody has a passion for kids. Yeah. So many people are just selfish. So many people are just so selfish. I do not live for myself anymore. Roderick Akens is not living for Roderick Akens anymore. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? I am not. Ever since my children were born, I'm not living for myself. Right? You don't have every parent thinking like that. You don't have every parent thinking that they knowing that hey, this isn't about me. Every step I take is for my children, right? Every decision I make is for my children, right? So it's like fathers need to, be encouraged and enthused because they didn't have that upbringing, they didn't have that guidance, right? So I learned from role models, from mentors, right? My older cousins, right? They came to pick me up and they were married, right? So I saw them having families within their own lives, right? At the same time, they took the time to come and coach me, right? Take me and my brother to play ball, right? Those things saved me in my mindset as a person, as a father, as a human being.
And the kids need it.
Exactly. Exactly. It's highly essential. It's highly important because it's commonly known that what fathers are there, right? Yeah. So instead of moms chasing behind the dads aren't there, chase behind a program so your son can be, can get what he's lacking, right? Exactly. Stop wasting your time, wasting your energy, wasting your brain power, wasting your heart on chasing behind a man, right? That don't chase behind his child.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I see it all the time. I see it so much, and I just be like, wow, right? Wow. Why are you wasting your time when you have the ticket?
Yeah.
You have what needs to be provided for, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the ability to maneuver how you see fit.
Yeah.
And if the dad come back and say, hey, I want to see my baby, granted, it will be something that's difficult for anybody to just open back up the door, but you're not opening up the door for you.
Exactly.
You're opening the door for your child.
Mm-hmm.
So and most of the time, and I say this too, and I will stand on this, most fathers do need to be educated how to be better fathers. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying because, a lot of dads aren't in their lives. It could be for so many different reasons. It could be because they separate, incarceration. It could be a number of reasons. A lot of military moms have dads that die in the military.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'll never hear a military mom talk about deadbeat. They ain't got this thing. I ain't never heard a military mom complain about being a single mom.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dang, ain't that something to think about?
Yeah, it definitely
the military moms don't be raising like these hood rat moms talk about. Oh yeah, I said it because that's what they are. They don't want to. They don't want to do for themselves.
Yeah.
To get to that next level, but they raising about what the man ain't doing.
Yeah.
So
it's very important for both parties to do what they need to
do. Absolutely.
For both parties to do what they need to do. So did you share with us all of your social media?
Yeah, damage_proof_ is my Instagram, and of course I will be continuing to stream and providing more content on Damage Proof, which is my TikTok. Again, I will be continuing to grow, getting more sponsorship. I'm actually finishing to potentially put together a fundraising event, a charity fundraising event, a basketball charity. I wouldn't say tournament, but a game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have an A team and a B team. And there will be vendors there, and I'm definitely opening up the door for more vendors. It's going to be something huge once I finally put everything together, which is it's almost there. I just got to green light everybody. But once I put my mind to something, just like the event that I recently did do for kids, where I was giving away, book bags and giving away school supplies for kids, free haircuts. We had a fun event for the kids that I've already put together, right? So my next one will be huge, even bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And this is all in an initiative to support Damage Proof, support the community, to where we can grow and help more families.
Yes.
Because they need it.
Yeah,
so many families need it. They're going to the wrong system. They're going to the wrong programs to get help regarding their children. I'm sorry. Yeah. Unless there's imminent threat, imminent danger, right? The system shouldn't even be involved. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People can resolve their conflicts themselves, but they don't choose to.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need a mediator. Let's just be honest,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's the second hand. The mediation comes. Where does the mediation come before you go to court, though? Because they appoint things, but it costs.
Yeah.
I paid over $1,000 plus maybe $2,000 for a guardian ad litem. Do you know that the guardian ad litem quit on my son's case?
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then she provided documentation to the court that was a lie based on the medical records, right? Wow. And I can show you this.
Oh wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So I just question a lot of things, that the system has in play, that has happened over time. And again, this isn't about me. It's about other children, other families who are going through this, and potentially what other young men can face too, within the light of children being used against them. And I feel that a lot of men are targeted who are pushing for success.
Yeah.
Because you don't see no deadbeat dad who is how can I put this? The men who don't have jobs, Put it that way. The men who don't have careers
Right.
or business or whatever the case may be, those are the men who aren't. They're like, I want to say, attacked by the system
Mhm.
or by the moms,
Mhm.
because it's like they're off the grid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the moms be like, well, ain't nothing I can do. Sister can't do nothing either. Then that's when they kick in their ability to say, okay, yeah, I'm the single mom and I'm the dad too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but people don't like to talk about stuff like that though.
Yeah.
Because it's the truth,
Yeah.
you know. And I've seen so many different situations. I have on my Facebook, I have so many inboxes where I consult with moms. And that's the thing I do too privately, where I help these moms deal with these conflicting issues with dads.
Yeah.
Because the men need to be communicated with in a different light, because a lot of times these dads don't know how to be dads.
Yeah, that's true.
But they love their
They need
kids though.
assistance.
But they love their kids though. You
Of
gotta
course.
understand what I'm saying.
Of course.
They don't know how to be dads, and I mean involved.
Mhm.
I mean wanting to know their shoe size,
Yeah.
wanting to know how the doctor's appointment went.
All the important stuff.
Everything
You know?
regarding that is an active father. You can't just
Yeah.
say, I love my kids, but you don't know what size drawers they wear.
Oh, wow.
You just can't.
Right.
It's just like apples and oranges. Like,
Right.
you can't do that.
Listen, but 9 times out of 10, the mother always knows these things, you know. And
Right.
listen, I'm not gonna downplay the fathers, because there are some fathers absolutely that know this information as well.
Right.
So kudos to those good mothers and those good fathers. And on a serious note, you guys, again, if you are that family, that mother or that father that is absent from your child's life, I beg you to please, make sure you try your very best to turn that situation around. Because what we don't want to happen, right? If God forbid, if we were to go to sleep tonight and don't wake up in the morning, right? Then guess what? You've left from off of this earth with that relationship broken. That person, that child is now having to deal with daddy not being in my life, mommy not being in my life for this certain time frame, and then now the mother or the father is no longer here. Now they got to grieve twice. Does that make sense? They got to grieve twice versus just once, right? So if you can, please pray about the situation, and if you can, try your very best to turn that situation around. If you need assistance with someone, being that mediator, going out to get the help that you need to say, hey, I need somebody to counsel us, whatever that looks like. Just do it, you guys, because life is short. There's no guarantee that we're going to wake up in the morning. Life is short. Life is short. Life is short, and we don't want to be leaving this earth with, and being here with regrets. It makes no sense, for things that we really, really, really can try our very best to improve on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I encourage, moms who are experiencing difficult dads to get a man involved.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really simple.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I would definitely love for a woman to. I've never, even in women I've dated while going through this struggle, I've never had a woman to support me to say, hey, they're not doing right.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like they had kids, a couple of them had kids, because I've tried to date even while going through the process. It's difficult because you have a nature of conflict that you have to handle.
Yeah.
And you have a woman that might have kids, right? And she's like, oh man, I don't have time for that, or don't want to have time for it. So it's like you can't just really open your door for anybody in your circle because you're dealing with a process that they may not understand or want to deal with.
Yeah, and everybody has that right.
Right, absolutely, absolutely.
Everybody has that right. So, and everybody has that preference. So it's just what that particular person wants to deal with, plain and simple.
Absolutely.
Nothing more, nothing less. So anyway, you guys, I appreciate your time. Listen, we are beyond an hour, right? It's like an hour and 45 minutes we've been here with you guys on this evening, and I'm very grateful. I don't take your time for granted, by no means. But what I didn't want to do is just rush this conversation, because it is truly a conversation that, number one, is important to me as well, and important, of course, to Roderick with his situation and everything that he's gone through and experienced. I'm so grateful to still have my mother and father here with me. I give God all the glory, all the honor, all the praise. And at the end of the day, there's so many people that don't have a mother, that don't have a father. They lost their mother and fathers at an early age, or it may be a situation where your parents or your parent may be on drugs and unfortunately not mentally well to be involved in the child's life, or when you were growing up, or wherever the case may have been. Everybody has a story, everybody has a testimony, everybody's situation is a little bit different compared to the next person, right? But I just want to encourage you on today to definitely stay lifted, stay encouraged, no matter what it looks like. Just know that, at the end of the day, if you don't have a mother or father, right, guess what? We have a mother and a father, which is the man up above, right? Let's count on him, even if that parent is not involved in your life. At the end of the day, we know that God will never leave us or forsake us. And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Amen. Amen. You're right about that.
Amen. All right, Roderick, is there anything that we may have not discussed? I think we talked
just
about
continue
a lot,
to follow the channels that I mentioned, damage_proof_. I'll just be releasing more content pertaining to my events that I'm going to be doing for kids in the community,
yes.
Bringing more awareness to child abuse prevention and effective co-parent.
Yes.
It's highly essential. It's what builds the world.
Yeah.
It what builds the people behind these desks, in these courtrooms, in these medical procedure rooms. It's who we are. We have to have relationships with our parents. If we don't, we need to identify what's wrong.
That's it. And just want to encourage you guys, for people that are out there that may be in need of an attorney or in need of assistance, right? There's different programs that we have available. The show offers. Please feel free that if you are in need of any prepaid legal services, to make sure you reach out to us here on the show. The number that you can call us directly is 770-715-7949. And with that prepaid legal services, right, what will happen is that you're going to be able to get a will also with that prepaid legal services. A lot of times people don't want to spend the extra money for, the prepaid legal or the life insurance and different things of that nature. But at the end of the day, as I always talk about on mostly all of my shows, you guys, there's so many people that are leaving this world. Unfortunately, there's no life insurance. Now we're doing GoFundMe, we're doing chicken dinners, we're doing fish dinners, we're doing nachos and cheese. You understand what I'm saying? We got to do better. We just have to do better. It's not other people's responsibility to take care of our responsibility, right? So God forbid, if something happens to you tonight, in the next 5 minutes, do you have your house in order, right? Please feel free to reach out to us here on the show. Again, 770-715-7949. Let us put these things in place for you. Just let us know, hey, I heard about you on your show, and you were interviewing Roderick with Damage Proof, and we'll make sure we put that in place for you guys. You were going to say something?
You said it right.
Okay. But then also what I want to mention too is, because the will is very important. Life insurance is very important. But also having a will, a lot of times we have parents, in your situation. God forbid if something happened to you, right? Then at the end of the day, who's going to take care of your children? You may not want your children to go to those baby mothers or wherever the situation may be. We got to just put things in place, you guys, just using different scenarios. But there's times where you may not want your baby mother or your baby father or your husband or your wife to take care of your child, because you feel that, God forbid, if something happened to you, they're not going to really do right by your child, right? So at the end of the day, if you don't have a will in place, what do you think is going to happen? What do you really think is going to happen? There's so many celebrities and different people that passed away in the past and unfortunately did not have a will in place. Now you're in the courts fighting for this, fighting for that, trying to win this, trying to win that. It's just too much. It's a lot. It's a lot of stress.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's really crazy.
It really, really is.
If people really think about it,
mm-hmm.
the system has people fighting.
Yeah, that's it. And there's no need for that, because God forbid if something happens to someone, right? If you already have all your eggs in one basket, you dot your I's and cross your T's, right? Then you don't have to worry about the stress that you're gonna leave behind here with your family members fighting and pulling off each other wigs and all kind of stuff. Because
a lot of people like to fight.
Yeah,
a lot of people like to fight. A lot of people like the conflict. They're toxic. They just like that combativeness.
Yeah.
But you can see it, right? And for me, people like, can anybody tell me I ain't see that?
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? I can identify and I can help others to identify a lot of things beforehand. I talked to a 22-year-old young man. He thinking about having a child with a woman. They're not married yet. I'm
Listen,
like, okay,
continue to talk to him.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, continue to talk to him. Because we don't want, and there's situations where sometimes, things do turn out beautifully, right? But then there's times where unfortunately it just does not turn out the way we expect it to turn out. So we have to be prepared. So Roderick, I definitely want to thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on the show and just kind of sharing with us your story, your testimony, what you went through, your experience, what you're still going through.
Absolutely.
I speak life over your situation that, God will turn that situation around for you so that you'll be able to be there for your children. No more depression, no more anxiety, no more, negative thoughts, about, this situation. God's going to turn it around for your good so that you will be that active father in your children's life. So continue to speak life, continue to be encouraged through the midst of all of this, and don't pay attention to this social media foolery that's out here. Some people got positive things to say,
right,
and then you got some people that got a lot of negative things to say. But at the end of the day, until you know that it's your story, I tell people all the time, don't talk my talk unless you walk my walk. Okay, don't talk my talk unless you walk my walk. Until you put yourself in that situation or have to go through it, you just never know. You just never know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is the month of October. Now listen, I'm tired. Okay, you can tell I'm tired, right? Okay, so this is the month of August, and we want to just give a special shout out to everyone that is celebrating a birthday. Special shout out to my dear sister, Dr. Quandra Banks, who birthday is today. So happy birthday to you, Dr. Quandra. And you guys stay tuned for the people that are on the social media platforms with us. Please feel free to go out, like, comment, subscribe, share the broadcast. We greatly appreciate you. We see the hearts, we see the love. We appreciate you for tuning in on today. Again, the show was supposed to be 1 hour, but it's okay, you guys. This was a very touchy subject, and I wanted to really spend the time to really talk about what was needed to talk about on today. And I pray that it was a blessing for each and every one of you guys. If you know someone that needs to go back and listen to the replay, please, I beg you to share that with them. Please, please, please feel free to share that with them. Also, I'm going to ask you guys to definitely take some time out to visit my website. You do see it strolling on the bottom of the screen, but at the end of the day, if you do not have the screen bar that's strolling on TikTok and Instagram, please feel free to go out to www.thekristleshanellshow.com. Again, that's www.thekristleshanellshow.com. Now, y'all, my mom and dad, they were very unique with the spelling of my name. Listen, I just love the spelling of my name, right? But I want to just spell it for you so that you make sure you get it right. Kristle is Kristle, and then Shanell is Shanell. Again, Kristle is Kristle, Shanell is Shanell, thekristleshanellshow.com. Please feel free to follow me on all of my social media platforms at Kristle Shanell or Dr. Kristle Shanell or The Kristle Shanell Show. Just know that I greatly appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Again, please share the broadcast. We love and appreciate you. And Roderick, before we close out, listen, I always ask people to pray, because we gave them nuggets, we gave them tips, we gave them what we feel we needed to give them on today. But I just want to ask you to please pray for the parents,
absolutely.
The people that are going through
absolutely
and experiencing this.
Yes, absolutely. Before I do leave us off in prayer, I want everybody to follow my website too for more information. www.damageproof.org. Again, that's www.damageproof.org. And everybody viewing, everybody watching, you can bow your heads. Father God, we are here today to deliver a message.
Yes, Lord.
Deliver a message for those who are unaware For those who have not experienced or could experience. Thank you, Lord, for this setting. Thank you, Lord, for me having the ability to be able to foresee certain things and to push through certain things that others hadn't been able to push through, Lord. Thank you for allowing me to have a voice for others and other children who don't have that voice. Thank you for allowing me to have the strength enough to endure these things that has happened to my own children and is happening to my own children. Thank you, God, for everybody's support. Thank you for those who actually support me and who are viewing now. Again, I appreciate you. I do. Thank you, Lord, for these blessings that have been coming to me through the conflict, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for the outcome that I do see the light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you, Lord, for my ability to persevere, Lord. And I give my strength to others who might be enduring it. I give my wisdom to others that might need the help. I give my everything to this situation and this initiative, Lord. And I thank you all, and I hope they get your support in the near future because I'm only just getting started. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, amen. And a special shout out to WJBS 1440 AM radio station, as well as 96.1 FM radio station, as well as 107.5 FM radio station. Super excited, you guys. These are platforms that the Kristle Shanell show is aired on as well. So please feel free to plug in. Of course, we're all over. We're in 3 countries. We are in the Virgin Islands and 50 states, right? So stay tuned for more information in regards to that. We're going to also, I'll have a flyer out there that kind of gives more information on all the platforms that we're on so that you'll be able to listen, tune in. If you guys are interested in coming on the show, please feel free to reach out to us on the website, or you can call us directly at 770-715-7949. If you're interested in being a guest, if you're interested in being a sponsor for the show, or if you're interested in doing any advertising for the show. Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as we close out on this evening, I want to just close out. Again, let me just say that I don't own. I can't talk today. I need a rest after this, y'all. It's been a long day. I don't own the rights to this music, but I want to definitely just share with you guys one of these praise and worship songs that I listen to quite often that has really been a blessing to me over the last couple of weeks. So stay tuned, and you guys feel free to drop off when you like. But I would just encourage you that if you can, just stay on just about for 5 minutes. Listen to the praise and worship and then close out, okay? Know that Dr. Kristle Shanell loves you from the bottom of my heart. Peace and blessings until next time, and stay tuned. God, don't give up on me yet. I know I'm not your best bet, but I'm trying, so don't give up on me yet. And God, don't leave me here alone. I know I need to grow still, and I'm trying. Don't leave me here alone. I know I've come so far, but got so far to go. And with these brand new scars and this broken heart, it's hard to really know if there's a reason that the Father is seeing. But I wanna believe it. So don't give up on me.
And we had shares too. We got shares.
God, I know it makes no sense, And with these brand new scars and this broken heart, it's hard to really know if there's a reason. And if I don't see it, but I wanna believe it.
Right, Instagram. Thank you guys for joining. We greatly
So don't
appreciate you.
give up on me.
Thank you so much for joining my cousin Nisha.
Don't give up on me.
I see a few names here that I recognize. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Don't give up on me.
Love and appreciate you. God bless you every day.
All right, you guys, thanks again for joining. I pray that you were able to hear the song. In a nutshell, it said, God, don't give up on me now. And the name of the song is called The King Will Come. Very, very beautiful song. I'm telling you, you got to listen to it. You probably can't hear it the best when I played it just now because I heard a little static there in the background. But when you have some time, please feel free to go out and listen to The King Will Come. And the name of the song is called Yet or By Yet. Official lyric video is what it's showing. But God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining. We love and appreciate you all. And take care. Until next time. Peace and blessings. Thank you again.